Hello everybody, my name is Benchy, and welcome back to the Planet Crafter, where last time we built the biolab, we upgraded our power supply with 2 Tier 2 nuclear reactors, we unlocked the flower spreader, and we've also been making some progress into the lakes stage here, and you can kind of see just about how far we're coming along. This thing is doing quite nice, growth 100%, it's doing great. The algae down here is doing good work as well. It is constantly growing and doing really good things for us, which is much appreciated as we make our way through the lake stage. We are around 30% into the lake stage last I checked. 36% into the lake stage last I checked, which is just now. And we don't really have a whole lot of unlocks coming up. We have something at 25 kilograms of biomass, which is not super far off, but it's also not exactly super close, and that is only the algae generator tier 2, which honestly isn't that great overall. And we don't really have a whole lot coming up in our regular crafting trees either. In terms of oxygen, we have the heater tier 4 at 63 parts per billion, which, as you can see, is quite a crawl at the moment. We have the biodome tier 2, which we haven't even unlocked the biodome tier 1. Biodome tier 1... Actually, I don't know where that is. There's an aquarium tier 2, there's a drill tier 5. Butterfly dome, which is going to be after the biodome. Is this a biodome? This is a biodome. Okay, so we're long past the biodome, which makes sense for why we would end up getting the biodome tier 2 for the heat. And then down here we have the gas extractor, which is also pretty far off. So basically everything that we have right now is pretty far off, and we just have a couple of errands to run and a little bit of exploring to do. There's still a couple of regions of the world that I have yet to explore. We've explored that wreck. We've explored very far in that direction, but I don't want to go too far in that direction to some of the stuff that we did in the Great Exploration episode, mainly because of the fact that we're not necessarily meant to do that yet. There's a lot of endgame biomes over in that region that we're not supposed to be at for a while, so I don't want to rush things, if that makes sense. But we've not explored this way pretty much at all. We've explored the ring a little bit, or at least we've seen the ring. We haven't really explored that way at all. And there's still a lot more way off in that direction that we can get to due to our other base being, or our old base being pretty much right there. So we have a couple of things to do in terms of errands to run. I guess you could really just call it errands to run. We don't really have a whole lot in terms of new things to build. However, the main thing that I'm going to want to do today is explore and upgrade our biological processing. And what I mean by upgrade our biological processing is we have a full thing here of seeds. We have so many eggplant seeds, we have so many squash seeds, squash seeds, and we have a decent amount of mushroom seeds. Now, the mushrooms aren't going to be super useful to us yet, but they will eventually be rather useful to us for the bioplastic nuggets. So it's a little bit of a shame that we only have 3 of the mushroom seeds. I might see if we can find some more of those and prioritize that. Might go to some of the wrecks again, just off camera, and see if there's anything there. The main things that we're going to want right now are eggplants and squash, pretty much. Eggplants and mushrooms are probably going to be the things that we need the most in demand. Definitely eggplants. And then squash will be something that comes at a little bit of a later date. So it's not a main priority, but it is going to have to be a priority, if that makes sense. We have a pretty substantial amount of power left over. We have roughly 300 kilowatt hours. And each of these food growers takes 15 of that. So we have quite a bit of range in there. Let's see, we can do 6 per 100, so we have 18 possible that we could build at this moment in time, which is honestly probably more than we would need. In terms of seeds, we have a whole lot of seeds. So I'm honestly thinking we take these 5, and then we take this one once it's done growing, number 6, and we make 6 of these upstairs. And that's because they're very cheap. It's just aluminum, iron, and water. So if I take 6 iron for the eggplants, and then let's just go on ahead and say 4 for the squash, and then 3 for our dearest of friends, the mushrooms. Then all we need is some aluminum, of which I am missing 1, which will not be hard for us to find. And then other than that, we just need water. And although we don't have the access to ice like we used to have now that we're in the liquid water and the lake stage, we do have the atmospheric water collector, which works decently quickly, and I don't mind just kind of sitting back and waiting around for that to be finished. In addition to that, we could also technically find water out and about in the world, but I feel like that's a little bit less prudent. There are also some places that do still have ice in some quantities, just not very high ones, if I'm being honest. So in this little corner here, we're just going to go on ahead and place down the 3 that we want for the mushrooms. Just like that. Then we can take this space here and we can kind of split it in half. And we can have our squash planted here. And we're out of water. So I'll go on ahead and grab those and plant them. That's the wrong chest. These and these. I'm forgetting my buttons because I've been playing other games. Doing a lot of recording recently to procrastinate studying. But you know what? That gets you guys content faster and it makes me happy. So, bingo bongo. 2 birds, 1 stone. Now all these guys are growing. And we are probably going to end up needing separate chests for all of these things. I don't necessarily know where I want to put them. I think I'll probably want to put them down here in the biological science area. And the more I think about it, the more I realize that those would definitely be beneficial to have in one area. Like, have the craft stations all in the same sort of region. So let's go on ahead and move those as well. And we can put this... Oh, well, not really there. That doesn't fit very well. We could put it over here on the side, but I feel like that's going to block my walking access, which it does. So instead, what we can do is we can put it over here in this corner. Like so. And then we can put the other craft station just there next to it. And then we don't really have to worry about anything else down here. Now, in terms of the locker storages... Oh, that's aggravating. Alright, well that's fine. Because I can just split the room in half. Like this. And that looks a little better. Let me see if I can move this over just 1 more. Come on, what's your problem now? Okay, that was weird. I don't know what its problem was there. Oh, it's just slightly off the grid. That's gonna really tick me off if I look at it too hard, so I'm just not gonna look at it too hard. And of course, that's gonna clash right there. Alright, cool. Fine. What am I gonna do with these things then? We could put them up against the back wall here. Why not? Do one there. Do one here. And do one there. And then we can have this one be eggplant. We can have this one be squash. And we can have this one be mushrooms. One tip that I have for survival games, such as the Planet Crafter, is to have dedicated storages for most independent materials. You're 100% gonna have a lot of each of these materials, and for a time, it's totally fine to have these kinds of things all in the same place, but eventually you are going to want to differentiate. Like, when you only have 5 of each item, yeah, it's totally cool to just have those items kind of clumped together a little bit, less organized as you're starting out. But the more that you grab and the higher rates of production you have, you're gonna want to differentiate things. That's like the biggest tip that I can provide ever when it comes to games like this. Like, eventually I will have my own algae chest, because I know for a fact algae is one of the main things that is needed in high quantities in the late game, as well as eggplants and squash and all of those other things, which is why right now I'm already going on ahead and just doing my due diligence and making sure that everything is going to be in the top-notch shape that it really can be. And you can see that the food growers are 100% starting to take up a lot more of my space here with my power, but at the end of the day, that's going to be totally fine. And also at the end of the day, we'll be able to get rid of some of our things like the grass spreaders and replace them completely with the flower spreaders. However, flower spreaders, of course, require fertilizer, which require, everything else. So I think while we're sitting here waiting for this to give us our prudent materials, I'm just going to go on ahead, chuck all that in there, and do a little bit of exploring. I feel like it's been a while, and I feel like it's something that is necessary. So I have an idea on where I want to go. I want to go just right up this hill here, and we'll find something of interest pretty much immediately. I don't really know how not to spoil it, but it's a pretty interesting place. Pretty interesting biome overall. So, let's... Oh, come on, seriously? Oh, is this a special one? Or is this a normal one? This is a normal one. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't care about this then. For a second, I thought it was... Is it? Are these special meteors, or are these normal meteors? I can't tell. Okay. No, they're normal. They're normal meteors. Alright, cool. And we're here. This is the biome that I'm talking about. So the actual entrance to this biome is kind of right there. The entrance that we're at currently is just some cliff faces. And then there's also an official entrance right down here that we'll go on ahead and check out, because I don't see why not. This is the Osmium Cave entrance. However, it is still going to be blocked off by ice for a decent length of time. I think actually it probably has already started to melt. However, it won't be done melting for a long time. Yeah, 5 microkelvin. So, it is melting. You can see that by the fact that we can kind of Skyrim horse it a little bit here. But it will not be done for a while, so I'm not going to risk getting myself stuck. So let me go on ahead, make my way around to the other entrance to this place, and then I'll bring you guys back in. See you in a second. Alright, we've made it to an entrance to this place. There's another one farther off following the cavern that way that's closer to the ring. And then with the jetpack, you can technically Skyrim horse it up this thing here. So those are all different alternative ways to get into this place. And this place gets a lot more interesting as the terraformation progress proceeds. It grows a lot of vines and other things. But for right now, what we are concerned about is all the way down at the end, and you can kind of see it poking out there. So I'm going to go on ahead and head down there. Also, here's the other side of that osmium cave entrance. What? As you can see, this is where we just were. I don't know what is this way. Other than just more osmium, I guess. More osmium and sulfur, so good to know that that's close-ish by. I'm gonna go on ahead and grab this crate because I feel like it'll probably be useful. Yeah, Tusca seed, some bioplastic nugget, fertilizer, explosive powder, water bottle. Those are all pretty useful standard materials. So we're gonna definitely take those. And then over this way is where we actually want to be. Yeah. You can start to see a little bit of wreckage pop in. There's a landing gear piece. A little bit of a shield piece. And this craft is a fighter, I believe. Let's go check out the lore, because this one actually has some lore, as well as a blueprint microchip. Yeah, you can kind of see it looks very militant. So let me get some oxygen. I don't know why you're able to place these so high. Okay, oxygen. Private Scavenger, Letter of Mission, Reconnaissance. An abnormal number of ships from various companies have disappeared in the Ezekiel Prime sector. Go there and find any information you can. Primary objective: investigate the sector, find any reasons why some ships seem to vanish. Secondary objectives: find and report presence of any hostile life, identify any crashed ships and report them to their respective corporations, and record the whereabouts of all merchandise found. Year 3042. So that is, I don't know, a decade ago, roughly. So this one's really nice. That's awesome. So that ship was sent about a decade ago to start analyzing the remains and remnants of crashed ships. And obviously they didn't quite succeed, seeing as they are crashed themselves, you know. So that's less than ideal for them. There's a lot of crates just kind of littered about the place here. I am going to run out of room. Hey, mushroom seeds. Nice. I'm going to run out of room if I try to take everything from every crate. So I'm going to start having to be a little bit selective. And there's also a cave over here. I feel like you guys should know about. I think there's also a golden crate up here, though I could be totally mistaken. I'm totally mistaken. But there is an iridium cave over here. I think there's an iridium rod or two just kind of stuffed in here. Not to mention that there's also these things. So, you know, be on the lookout for them. I don't think there's any more. I think it's just the one iridium rod. But one iridium rod equates to 9 iridium, so that is very well conserved inventory space, if you ask me, personally. And then way off in the distance, you can see the ring horizon. Pretty nice. But like I've mentioned in the past, we are saving that for its own dedicated episode because of how large and how important it is to the lore, the story, and just the fun of the game in general. So I think I'm going to end off today here. I know it's been a little bit of a dull episode, just kind of exploring around and checking out different things. I'm going to end off by heading back to our little starting location area and checking out some of the wrecks and exploration that we haven't yet done over in that region. So let me make a quick stop here by the base and then I'll get back to you. And here we are on the other side of the battlecruiser, where it's pretty much just barren desert by the look of things. I'll be honest, I thought there was more over here. I guess that kind of comes at later terraformation stages. I know of at least one wreck that should be right over this way. Yeah, right here. There is a downed satellite, which, I'll be honest, I don't know exactly why there's a satellite just kind of on this planet. It's like, why? Why would they just have a satellite on a planet that doesn't even have a name, according to the lore that we're given, in a system that is notorious for things crashing and burning for no reason? I guess in all honesty, the reason is probably to try to figure all that out, but still. There is one other thing, but it's something that I kind of consider to be locked behind progression a little bit more, so we're not going to worry about it. In the meantime, there are two things I want to check out. Number one is up there, because I didn't know this was open yet, and number two is actually right back this way, and it's probably one of the biggest mysteries that I have yet to solve. So, please, no spoilers, but this is it. Looking, what would this end up being? West of the shipwreck here, there's a cave entrance. And this cave entrance looks a little interesting. And as you come in, you start to see super alloy just on the ground, just kind of scattered about. That in and of itself is already a little jackpot screaming. But then you start to realize that it's a bit of a maze, and that there's this, and whatever this is. There's a door here. Now this door, in the lore and automation update, does open. I do not know how. I do not know when. And I do not know what is inside. So please don't spoil that for me, for anybody who has gotten that far in the Planet Crafter before. I'm very excited to take a look at this on my own and figure it out eventually. You can see this kind of looks a little bit crafted, if that makes sense. I don't need that, so I'll take both of these. I don't need you, so I'll take that. Oops. See, it's a bit of a maze in here. And it's also currently raining, which is just superb. So now let's head up to the northwest, into the area that I didn't actually know was available, which is kind of cool. Having things that are new to me as well are actually quite nice. So let's just kind of see where this takes us. And I believe this is going to put us on the top of the sand fields, so we'll even be able to see our old base. It's going to give us a hell of a nostalgia trip, huh? It's kind of nice. I should honestly probably come back here at some point with an empty inventory, but at this point I'm too deep in it. I gotta... Ugh. What is with the sand? Well, we're at the top of the sand falls, so I guess that's what's up with the sand. There's the old base. There's the landing pod. How's that for a view, huh? Actually, once it's done raining, I'm probably going to take a screenshot of that and make that the thumbnail. So what exactly is up here? This was new as of the last time I played. So what exactly is up here? I see a wreck. That's the first thing that's kind of glaring at me here. Doesn't really look like there's anything over there. So there is a wreck over in this little corner here, which is quite nice. Although, like I said, I'm gonna have to come back with an empty inventory, because right now I can't really do much of anything. Oh, I remember this wreck. This wreck's a bit of a maze. Yeah, and you can, like, climb all over different things, and it's got, like, weapon turrets and stuff in it. It's pretty cool. We'll have to check that out another time, though, because we are out of time for this episode. I'm trying to keep things closer to the 20-minute mark than the half-hour mark, because nobody sees a half-hour video and goes, ooh, part 9 of a series, and it's a half-hour long. I want to watch that. Except me, because I like having things in the background while I do recording things. So that is going to be it for this one. And we will dive into some more things next time. But for now, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. But without further ado, adios, sayonara, au revoir, hasta la vista, das vidania, wiedersehen, ciao, and goodbye. Please have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Get some sleep if you need to, and don't forget to stay hydrated. This video is in the bag, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later, y'all.